Okay, so far in our mastering session, we've balanced out the frequency spectrum. We fattened up the bottom end. We've added color with the Saturn plugin. We've used EQ to take care of problem frequencies and add some richness and create some separation between the mids and the sides. Now it's time for some compression to glue the elements together to give a little bit of punch and, of course, to maximize loudness in the end. So FabFilter's Pro C is, again, just like all their other plugins, extremely powerful, extremely flexible, and it sounds amazing. So just to go through the plugin just to very quickly, here you have the threshold, ratio. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different styles of compression that you can choose from, attack and release, gain here, and then you can, again, adjust mid and side levels. Here you can have the dry and wet, so you can do some parallel compression with it as well. And you can also apply that to mids and the sides. You have a hold function, look ahead time for certain styles, range, and then you have a knee, and then you have sidechain options down here as well. So very powerful plugin. You don't need to use everything in it. It all depends on what you want to do. And what I want to do at this point is to glue things together, add a little bit of punch, and maximize loudness. So I actually want to start where the kick and the bass are playing, because my major concern is that this doesn't crush the kick drum. And to make sure of that even more, I'm actually going to enable the sidechain. And what the sidechain does is it's telling the compressor, I want you to compress, but I don't want you to compress the frequencies that I cut from here. I don't want you to include these frequencies in your compression, right? So that can preserve the bottom end of the kick drum and also the sparkle in the top end. And also you can tell the compressor not to let any of these upper mid, the really high frequencies here, to also interfere with the compression. So I'm going to click Audition, and what this is going to do is it's going to let us hear what we are cutting out of the signal chain going into the compressor, and that way we can just set these bands here. Okay, so that's it. We've told the compressor not to include these, and a little bit of these as well. So we can turn the audition off now, and we can just go about compressing this just like a normal compressor. So what I'm looking for is a pretty snappy attack. I'm probably going to leave it at the quickest, which is ridiculously fast, 0.0005 milliseconds. I also want a quick release, and the range, I'm going to keep it on full. I want a pretty snappy knee as well, and we can tweak that. Ratio, I'm going to leave somewhere between 2 and 3, and we can tweak that as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down the threshold until I start hearing what this compressor is actually doing. So just take a listen, and it becomes intuitive after you actually hear what the compressor is doing. And we can use different styles. So, you know, maybe I'm looking to add punch to the entire song. There is a mastering style here, which is very transparent. There's also a pumping style if you want to add some attitude to the song. Opto is very slow. You have a classic one as well, which is like a feedback style. Compression. Bus compression is, I guess, like a glue style compressor. So we can go through these and kind of see which one works the best for this song. Also, one thing to keep in mind, auto gain is on on this compressor, I do want to turn it off for a second because I actually want to hear what the compressor is doing. And then we can turn it on in the end because the auto gain algorithm on this plugin is pretty good, actually. I really like this Opto style here. It gives a lot of punch and it gives some release to the song as well. So it gives it some glue, but at the same time, a lot of punch as well. So I like that there. I'm going to keep it on Opto, and the release is kind of extreme at this point, but I do like the punch that it's giving. So again, I'm going to tweak the threshold as I pull it down, and I just want to get that punch and glue out of the song. Another very handy feature of this plugin is that it lets you hear what is actually being compressed. So it's an amazing, amazing plugin. So I like these settings a lot. I think we've added a lot of punch. So let's compare before and after, and then we can either turn the auto gain on or give it some manual gain if we need to. Right, so it adds a lot of thickness, a lot of character, some glue, and a lot of punch to the song. I love the settings that we have on this compressor. So like I said, I set it at the quickest attack, a snappy release, ratio of 3, and then I pulled the threshold down until I heard the punch and the glue come through. Pretty snappy knee, range is at full. Amazing, amazing compressor plugin. And now what I want to do is, again, I want to compare with all these plugins on and off to see if the entire thing sounds better. And I also want to test this compressor in the loudest section as well. Okay, so that's why you always test compression on the loudest sections, because now the compressor is biting pretty hard on the snare and it's completely killing its attack. So I'm probably going to open up the attack of the compressor just a little bit and listen to the snare drum in the chorus section. Okay, so just opened up the attack a tiny bit, 0.4 milliseconds, which is still very fast, but just enough to let the attack of the snare through and the transients of the percussion through just a little bit before we hit limiting. Okay, but I'm very happy with what we've done in terms of these plugins. The song sounds so much more focused, much more punchy, much more balanced, and much more polished.